Okay, time for yet another book unhaul. This is the third book unhaul I've done, and I suppose I will show you every single book that's in here. You obviously know the drill when it comes to these things. I'm getting rid of these books on the pretense that they're either in horrible condition, they are annotated all to hell, they're duplicate copies, or I really don't see myself reading them anytime soon, and therefore don't see a need for them in taking up more space in my library. So, we have one bin book this time, and also excuse my little troop of Marios here, just doing some display work and trying to see how things work here. Anyhow, so the bin book, the first bin book, actually the only bin book we have in this particular haul is The Selected Poems of Ezra Pound. Simple reason why this is going in the bin. It's because, well, that right there. You can see the text block, while it is intact for the most part, it's basically unglued. I'm not sure if it came unglued or if the glue just dried up. You can see that I'm pretty sure it came unglued, which is interesting. Now, I could go in and glue that, and I've done that to previous books before, but Mother said just to throw it away, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Throw it away. Now for the annotated books. First one we have here is if I learn how to speak proper English, A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. I already have this book in an edition, in a Penguin edition, in the box set of the first 10 Penguins, and this is all copiously highlighted and such, and you can see there. So I don't need this, that's all. Next annotated book is the Selected Writings of Karl Marx. In here is the Communist Manifesto, Capital, and a couple other writings, a German ideology, different things there. You can see here just how highlighted it is in certain sections, particularly the Communist Manifesto. And look at this. Look how sloppily and how unscrupulously someone scrawled their highlighting through here. It's almost as if they had a paroxysm or something and just attacked the paper. It's absolutely ridiculous, this, so I'm getting rid of that. Next here is the Federalist, I believe, papers by Alexander Hamilton, John Joy, and James Madison. This is highlighted in some sections, not too many, but you can see there, and there, and there. A couple more sections, but I can't, yeah, right there. And of course the page is falling out, so that might actually even go in the bin, but who knows. Just still getting rid of it. Okay, last annotated book is one by Aldous Huxley, the author of The Ever-Prophetic Brave New World, and a multitude of other more brilliant books that I've read and very much recommend, this being one of them. This is Island, right here. There are a few sections here that are highlighted, or not highlighted, just generally annotated. I don't quite remember which ones, though. Where in the world? This is very unprofessional. I should have marked these. Right here. Right there. Just ugly. Just exceedingly ugly. This. So, that's going. Okay, now these are all the books that will go to the bookshop and will perhaps amount to store credit once I do have them properly donated and such. First one we have here is a dictionary of Marxist thought. edited by Tom Bottomore, Lawrence Harris, V.G. Kiernan, and Ralph Miliband. This takes up far too much space in my library. It's a huge thing, and really the only sort of text on Marxist thought that I need are the ones by Marx himself and also Friedrich Engels. So there's no need for this any longer. And someone else can perhaps be coerced by that philosophy and those suggestions in that book. Alright, next here we have an old book, The Panorama of Modern Literature. And this is probably 80 years old, so this is not very modern at all. But this has got various short stories in here by different people. Sinclair Lewis, Arthur Conan Doyle, H.G. Wells, Joseph Conrad, William Thurber, P.G. Wodehouse. There's an Edgar Wallace story in there, actually, which is interesting. I read that, and it was pretty good. Christopher Morley, Stephen Vincent Benet, a few different people. And this is a big thing, so I don't need this in my library because it takes up far too much space. So someone else can buy that if they so desire. Next one here is The Best of Modern Humor, edited by Mordecai Richer. This is just a whole bunch of short stories by various people, which is basically like an exhibition of humor from the mid-20th century. There are several people in here. There's P.G. Wodehouse, as I said. There's E.B. White, Groucho Marx, Eudora Welty, Kingsley Amis, Saul Bellow, Truman Capote, John Mortimer, V.S. Naipaul, Philip Roth. Plenty of people in there. But this is a far too big of a volume for me to keep, so someone else can go ahead and find that humor for themselves and perhaps have a laugh at it just while I set up my Marios back up here. Okay, the next book we have here is a book I read and wasn't thoroughly impressed by. I'm going to be reading this author's most famous book, and hopefully that will be better, but this book is The Black Pearl by Scott Odell. It's just a tiny little thing. I don't know. It was alright. It wasn't particularly earth-shaking at all, but perhaps The Island of the Blue Dolphins, even though it is a children's book, and this is a children's book, will be better. So, that goes there. Next we have a book without a dust jacket, and that is The Snare of the Hunter by Helen McImes. I have no idea what this book is about, but it's been in my library for years, and I probably will never read this, so just going to the bookshop, where someone else will likely read it. We have a pretty old copy of Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, obviously a classic novel of the 18th century, and I have this in an Eastern Press edition, very nice Eastern Press edition, which I will show in one of these videos here, and I really don't need this at all, so that's going also to the bookshop. We have this book here, contemporary novel, A Map of the World by Jane Hamilton. This is an Oprah's Book Club selection. I don't see myself ever reading this. I don't even know what this is about. It doesn't give you a description at all. So, someone else will read it. Next we have a collection of short stories by Elizabeth Tallant. I got this originally because it was short stories, but now I'm not so sure what to do with it. I never read anything out of here and probably never will. That is Honey. So, this is bookshop bound. Okay. We have a little mystery by William Kienzl, however you say his name, a Jewish mystery writer. The Rosary Murders. I bought this solely for the cover and have not read it and probably never will. But someone else will. We have a duplicate copy of The Longest Journey by E.M. Forster. Have this in a Penguin edition, and obviously, as you know, Penguin supersedes any other paperback in my opinion. So, and this is a Bantam classic. So this is going to the bookshop. We have from Apple Classics. Interesting. An imprint of Scholastic. Haunting Tales by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I have all the tales basically in here, except maybe for The Artist of the Beautiful, but I could get that anywhere. I could even read it online for free, probably, but I have all the stories in here, so there's no need for that anymore. We have a book that I bought and never read and probably never will, The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. I don't know if this is any good or not, but I probably, as I said, I'll never read this, most likely, and someone else can decide whether this is a good novel or not. I know it's fairly popular, I've just never read it, so there you go. Okay, next two books are a couple of the out of the Anne of Green Gables series of books here. Is Anne of the Island and Emily's Quest. What is this? Oh, yeah. I believe these are, as I said, well, this is the third out of a different series itself, but they're still by L.M. Montgomery. I have the first Anne of Green Gables book, and once I read that, I don't intend to read any other of the Anne books until I read that first book. And at this point in time, all I want is that first book. So I will read that first book here eventually, and if I like it well enough, I will reconsider or consider buying the whole series. But for now, these are bookshop bound. Okay, finally, last book here is a turtle-bound library edition. This book I bought, I didn't buy it actually, it was free. I got it from my school's library many years ago. But I got it solely for the title, and that is The Pig Man by Paul Zindel. Main reason is because, you know, it's a pig man, and I thought it was relating very much to that Seinfeld episode, you know, it's a pig man, or something like that. But I read the synopsis, and it doesn't seem to be anything like that, and it's more of a young adult type of an affair, type of a novel, which I'm not really into young adult. So there's no reason for me to have this. So someone else can read it. Okay, so that was my third book unhaul. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to take these all to the bookshop and perhaps get store credit for them. And I'll be back here with another one because I did stumble upon yet more books that I'm going to be donating to the bookshop. And that will be my fourth book unhaul because I had gotten all these out one day and had obviously collected others on another day. So you'll see those here pretty soon. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.